Hi everybody, this is Kevin and welcome back to another manga review. And once again, we're going to be taking a look at Fairy Tail with volume 30. I can't believe we're already on volume 30 already. From Hiro Mashima, which is the conclusion of the Sirius Island arc. And after reading this, I have to say that Sirius Island is my favorite arc of the series so far. I'm sure it's probably going to get topped as we continue reading the series, but so far, I'd probably rank Sirius Island as the best, then the Battle of Fairy Tail, the one against Loxus, and then third favorite is probably Phantom Lord. So, I don't know, leave me your rankings down below thus far. No spoilers, please. But here we go, man. The last volume was essentially the battle against Hades, and our heroes defeated him. It was Natsu, Lucy, Gray, Urza, and Wendy, and even the Exceeds helped. And then the best part about it was having the return of Loxus, which you kind of knew Loxus was going to appear at some point because you had that foreshadowing after Makarov was attacked by Hades, and you got that one panel of Loxus saying there's an unsettling feeling, and he happened to be on the island paying respects to Mavis's grave, and he came in to save the gang and actually gave some of his power to Natsu so that Natsu can become a fire thunder dragon, which is unbelievable, man, and just an incredible battle there. Fantastic. So let's get right into this. I might as well tell you who's on the cover here because, well, we don't really know quite yet if you're new to this, but this is Acnologia. And those were the words that were muttered by Zeref, and if you remember, Dorenbolt heard him and ran off, just sweating bullets, quaking in his boots. And finally, the dragons have appeared. So let's get right to it, man. So like I said, they defeated Hades, and they're rejoicing. The sun is rising. And there's Hades right there. He's completely defeated. He's still alive, but there he is. And then you get this cute little scene of Lucy. You remember last time she caught Natsu's scarf and she returns it to him. And everyone's just returning to their friends. Right here you have actually the remnants of Grimoire Heart chasing after the Exceeds because Pantherley was fighting them off, but he can only stay in his big form for a short while. So he reverts back to his normal cat form. And well, the other injured Fairy Tail members are back and ready to go. Even Makarov, who's been unconscious this whole arc. But they scare off all the remnants of Grimoire Heart. And you see Loxus looking at his grandfather there. And everyone's rejoicing. You got this cute little scene of everyone hugging. You got Lucy hugging Kana, Wendy and Carla. Look at Gashiel and Panther Lily and Happy. Gray and Natsu. Aw, it's so cute. And then Loxus looks over at his grandfather and he says, "Thank you for coming back. But what are you doing on this sacred island, you fool? You're not a Fairy Tail Guild member anymore." Like, shut up, dude. If it wasn't for Loxus, they wouldn't have beaten Hades. What are you talking about? So then you have the Ragin tribe reunion here. Aw. And, it's all good. So everyone runs up. Then you have Natsu button heads of Gajiel, of course. But everyone runs back to camp. And Makarov makes his way over to Hades, where he says, "Finish me off, Makarov, you brat." And Makarov says, "Well, no, I'm not going to kill you. Maybe you'll seek redemption after being defeated." Why do they always do that? I guess an evil villain like Hades, just finish him off. But Makarov still holds feelings for him because he was the second master. After Mavis passed away, he became the second master. And then, of course, Makarov the third master. And Hades reveals to Makarov that they wouldn't have defeated him if they didn't take out his Grimoire Heart. Like I said last time, Loxus, I think, is 23 or 24, meaning his father's in his 40s or 50s, meaning Makarov's in his 60s or 70s, which means Hades, or Precht, has to be in his 90s. So this thing is keeping him alive and young. This is kind of reminding me of Draken Joe from Eden Zero in a different way. But this is Precht as he left the guild, right? And then you saw he was sort of a wise man talking to Makarov when he was younger, but he learns about the forbidden magic, and then he breaks his staff in anger and goes down the dark path. So he spares him, and they run off, and that's that. So then again, you get these cute little scenes of Natsu getting pigtails, and Happy and Carla enjoying themselves, and oh man, it's just so cute. Everyone rejoicing, and then even Gildarts is like, "Oh, you got exiled from the guild, Loxus? Come on, that's so lame." So, anyway, and then you see the airship departing, which, how the hell is this thing still flying? It was destroyed by Loxus' Thunderbolt, it was destroyed by Natsu and the gang, it was destroyed by the Exceeds. How the hell is it flying? But apparently, Rusty Rose and Kane are still alive. Zankro, we know, is dead for sure. Ozma is dead because after he was defeated by Urza, he became a tree. Ultir and Merity are elsewhere, but they're still alive. I'm trying to think of who else. Oh, and then Capricorn became Lucy's spirit now. He was a spirit, but he was just being controlled by Zoldio. So on this ship, they hear a voice, and Zareth approaches, and he says, "It's your evil thoughts that summoned Acnologia. They tell me that this age is nearly over. No one can stop it now. The world ends here." I gotta say, I love this cover here. So cute. So they all bow before Zareth, but the two of them can't get up, and Hades, he can't move because he was just completely obliterated. And basically they're asking, like, is this a dream? Like, how are you here? I thought you died 400 years ago. And yes, Zareth came into being 400 years ago, but I guess it's been like a walking shell of himself. You saw early on, he was trying to be one with nature, and he didn't want to kill all those animals, but as he approached them, he just had like this dark energy around him that killed all the trees and all the animals around him. And it's just, he's awake now, and his full potential is here. And then he does this stance here, talking to Hades. He says, "You will now be punished, first for calling Acnologia, and second for making me forget the weight of life." And you see Hades' face. "Repent for your sins." And then it cuts over here to this raft with Ultir and Merity. And we learn that Merity, she was living in a village that got destroyed by members of Grimoire Heart and was actually taken in by Ultir. And Zankro told Merity that it was Ultir who destroyed the village. And hearing this revelation, Merity is completely shocked because her family was murdered by the woman who has sort of become her surrogate mother. And she asks Ultir if that's true. And Ultir replies, yes, it was true, and that was the whole plan, to get Zareth and to start over again, because Ultir had her own motives, because of her mother. Her mother's dead, and she felt like she was abandoned by her mother, when in all actuality, her mother, was just trying to make her better by taking her to that magical facility, and she accepted that after she was in the water with her mother's soul. So she reveals that, and says, I can't ask you for forgiveness, but I will apologize to you. And she pulls out a knife, and you look at Merity's face here, and she stabs herself right in the heart. "You won't need to bloody your beautiful hands anymore. I'll just go away." And just, oh my God, dude. Such a sad little scene here. And she throws herself into the water. "Go find your happiness. I know you can. I love you, Merity." Goes into the water, and really she wanted to die in the water to be with her mother again. And what happens is, as she's falling into the water, Merity jumps back in to save her. I can see with her arm, that's her magic, her sensory link magic, where by connecting the two of them, she's able to, I guess, transfer some of her life force back to Ultir so that she'll live and she won't die from that stab. And she says, "Ultir, I understand your sadness, your frustration, all of it. You raised me, Ultir. Nothing can change that, so don't ever say anything like that again. Please don't leave me alone. I love you, so please live." And oh my God, dude, the feels in this series. And the two of them hug each other, and it's just like, oh my God, I don't want to spoil too much, but, well, I'll show you that in a minute, but I want to talk about this for a minute. But it's just like, the feels you get from this series, from seeing the fun action scenes, from, laughing my ass off at some of the humor in it, and then like on the verge of tears of these scenes, like the scenes of Kana and her past, and then seeing this with Merity and Ultir, who Ultir, she was doing awful things, but Merity I don't fault because she was just a young girl who was taken in by these people and raised by them, so I don't fault her at all. I feel like Merity is more pure than Ultir is, but at this point I do feel like Ultir maybe wants to go down a different path, and especially Merity. So, oh my God, I love this scene right here. So as they're hugging in the water, you see like the calm of the ocean and the glistening sea right there, and the seagulls, when all of a sudden this blast goes right through Grimoire Heart's ship as Hades is defeated. "Master Hades is dead! Fall into the underworld, impudent scum!" And then Zareth is looking up at the sky. "So, you've come, Acnologia." And then it cuts back over here to everyone just enjoying themselves again. And, Juvia's returned. And, it's just some good stuff right here. So, Natsu wants to partake in the S-Class test again because they never finished. And he's like, "I'm all fired up, let's go." And then the test is to face Makarov, but he just one-shots him. And there's this cute scene, too, of Loxus with Lasana, where he's like, oh, are you really real? You know, because Lasana was in Edelus for a while, and then Loxus was gone. He was exiled from the guild. So, you know. So then we cut over to some booby action with Lucy and Kana bathing with the herbs so they can heal their wounds. And Lucy and Kana talk about guild arts and say, you know, let's go confess to the guild arts and say who you really are. So then we get some heart-to-heart here with Natsu and guild arts, and they're fishing. And this is funny, too, because Natsu's like, you know, let me just jump in, I'll grab the fish. And Gildart says, no, take Happy's advice. Look at him. He's an expert fisherman. He's got all the fish there, and it's just, oh, it's great. So Lucy and Kana show up, and Lucy says, you know, Kana wants to say something to you. And the no boys allowed pulls Natsu and Happy. Look at this, my fish, our dinner. So you get this cute scene here, and Kana looks so cute. Like, I honestly prefer Kana in these outfits. I know she's always wearing like her bra or bikini or whatever, but she looks even cuter like that, I have to say. And she says, you know, I've been searching for my father. He's in Fairy Tale. How's it going? And then she's like, you know, it's you. What? It's me? Look at his face. Look at Natsu and Happy. And Lucy's like nodding, like, oh, you're doing a good job, Kana. This fucking guy. Who was the mother? Sarah, Naomi, Claire, David, all these people. Listen, you. How many women have you been with? So Kana leaves. She's like, all right, at least I got that off my chest. But you don't even have to love me. You know, it's all good. I just wanted you to know that you are my father, but it's all good. I got the weight off my shoulders. And then Gildarts comes in and hugs her. You're Cornelia's girl. I'm sure of it. Oh, my God. It's so sad. So emotional. And he says, Cornelia was the only woman I ever loved. Of course, you look just like her. And just this beautiful little scene with the two of them. And, oh, man, I love it. And you got, where is it? Right here, they continue to hug each other. Oh, I think it's the same page. I didn't flip it right. I'm happy I met you, and they're hugging each other. Oh, so cute. And then these scenes. This is from volume 28 when we got the flashback of Kana. Oh, man. And he says, would you give me permission to love you? Natsu and Happy are completely shocked. So, right here, we get the narration from Lucy. We were there basking in the warm sunlight. December 16th in the year 784 on Sirius Island, when suddenly our doom arrived, and you see Acnologia approaching the island. So as Acnologia is approaching, Gildart senses it and tells everyone to watch out. There's a dragon on the horizon, and they all run away. And if you remember, Gildart, when he returned from the Sentry quest, he went on the quest to kill Acnologia, but failed, and he lost an arm, a leg, and he had like a significant wound to his chest, and he's all bandaged up, and basically said no one can face this dragon. It's way too powerful. And there it is, Acnologia, the black dragon of the apocalypse. That's in colors, so I show you, but here it is. You can see the shock in everyone's face. Even Gildart, who is the strongest member of the guild, and even he's afraid of this beast. So the dragon's just laying siege to them, and then you see Zeraphir, you know, looking on, like, I wonder, did Zeref summon this dragon? Or, like, how did that work? Because Zeref muttered the words last volume when Dorenbolt heard him, and Dorenbolt ran off and told Lahar, and Lahar was shitting his pants too and said, we got to get out of here. So what happens is, and this is Zeref too, farewell, Natsu. Again, like, how does Zeref know Natsu? Like, I'm sure all these questions will be answered soon enough, but Makarov decides to take the stand and goes to his giant form. So he sends all his children off. He tells them to get to the boat. Although, can a boat really outrun the dragon? I doubt it. So he's struggling, holding the beast back as everyone's running away. And it seems like he's almost done for when everyone returns to help the old man. And, you know, you have them trying to fight against this dragon. And especially Loxus trying to protect his grandfather. But they're really no match. And we get this silhouette here. Rather, not a silhouette, but an image of the ghost of Mavis Vermilion, or the spirit, rather, the first master of Fairy Tale, and she's doing a little prayer. And the dragon's ready to blast him, and there's nothing they can do. None of their attacks did anything, so they come to the conclusion that they should just all hold hands. Let's go home together. And you see Loxus extends a hand to his grandfather with tears. And I love this image here, especially where they placed all the characters. Like, if you just take a look here, you have Makarov and Loxus holding hands, grandfather and grandson. You have the whole Ragin tribe holding hands. You have the Strauss family holding hands. Juvia and Gray, Lucy and Natsu, Urza, Natsu and Kana and Gildarts, Levi and Gagio, who were partners during the exam, Wendy and Carla, and then all the Exceeds. Oh my god, it's such a cute little scene there. But as they're holding hands, just praying that there's a chance, they all close their eyes as Acnologia fires a beam right down on the island, obliterating the island. And you can see all the perspectives from the other onlookers. Zareth just looking on, completely pissed. The island being destroyed. Doranbolt and Lahar, the other members of the Magic Council or the Magic Enforcement Agency. And then Ultir and Merity, and there's nothing left. The island has been vanquished. And Zareth says, it's over, Natsu. December 16th, in the year 784, Sirius Island was annihilated by Acnologia. Then, Acnologia disappeared again. For the next 6 months, ships combed the area searching, but found no survivors. And so, 7 years passed. So, like any good anime or manga, there's the obligatory time skip. And here we are in the year 791 in Hargian Port with a 7 years older Biska and Alzak, who are now married. They were hinting at that early in the series, and they finally sealed the deal, it seems. And this is Romeo, the son of Macau. So we go to a smaller fairy tale guild hall 7 years later, and Master Macau is now the fourth master with Wakaba, Max, all the other members who you may remember who have aged a little bit. You have Warren, Nab, Vegeter, is that his name? Yeah, Vegeter and Lackey. And of course, Jet and Droy. And Droy has done some eating in his absence, depression. He's lost the levy. And then Redis got skinnier. He was the mage who does the Picto magic. And apparently, he says it was a curse that Makarov had on him so that he can have a bigger canvas for his drawings. But these Jamokes appear from Twilight Ogre, who apparently own the property that Fairy Tail's on, and Twilight Ogre is now the superior guild in the absence of the strongest members. And they're just messing around, just kicking Macau all over the place, beating everybody up, hitting on Lackey here, just being god-awful to them. And during all that commotion, the whole guild hall is destroyed, and a sketchbook falls out, and they see pictures of better, happier times of the Master, of Urza, Lucy, Natsu, Happy and Gray, Gajiel and Wendy, Jet, Droy, and Levi. Oh my god, the Strauss family with Kana and the Ragin tribe. And then a picture of the whole guild, and everyone's just brought to tears here, saying, oh, it hasn't been the same for the past 7 years. Oh my god. Absolutely horrible. Everyone's crying again. The feels, man. And then Macau says that for the past 7 years, Romeo hasn't smiled once. His son, right there. But as all this is going on, all these tears and memories, they hear a noise outside and go out there to see the flying Christina from the Blue Pegasus and our boy. Sniff, sniff, sniff. The perfume of vexation is not a pleasant one. And it's Ichiya, who, for whatever reason, jumps from the top of the ship there. Hop! Men! And he falls, face first into the ground. And there he is, Ichiya Vandale Kotobuki, who has longer hair now. And then, of course, the three guys from Blue Pegasus, Hibiki, Ren, and Eve. And Ichiya proclaims that Sirius Island still exists. So follow me, men! So they set out on a ship here, where they see the spirit of Mavis standing on the ocean there. And basically what happens is she does a gesture, and the entire island comes out of the water. And they're like, what the hell? Sirius Island's back! And they see Natsu on the ground there, somewhat buried. So it cuts back to the guild hall, with the Jamokes of Twilight Ogre returning, asking for their money, and Romeo attempting to make a stand. He has some kind of fire magic as well. And as these guys are here, we see Natsu's smiling face, and Fairy Tail has returned. So it tells you what happened there. So Mavis basically saw what was going on. This is where we get the reveal of her name. But saw what was going on, and she used this spell known as Fairy Sphere because of, the qualities and friendship that they all bared. And basically, she was able to spare them with her magical powers and with the blessings and enchantments on the island. She was able to cast this spell and put everyone in a suspended state that releases after 7 years pass, hence the time skip. So there was no way they could defeat that dragon, so they had to write something else into it. And of course, you kind of always have to do a sort of time skip in these series just because, it's just day-to-day adventure and really, I think they said 6 months have passed so far in the series, so we had to do a more drastic time skip. And that's how they wrote that. And then you see Natsu is confronting Romeo, and it's like, look how big you got, Romeo! Oh, welcome home! Oh, that's so sweet, man. So here's Lucy again with her narration, talking about what happened. Everyone's back in better spirits, and it's a beautiful thing. And then we learn some more stuff that happened. The former Phantom Lord guy, Totomaro, who battled Natsu early in the series, is actually teaching lessons, and that's how Romeo learned his magic, his fire magic, through him. And he's like, don't ever mention the salamander in front of him. And, it's just so cool. And basically, then we're talking about the masters. Look at this lineage of masters. Master Mavis, right? Master Precht, who we saw him as Hades. Master Makarov. And then Macau is the fourth master. And then look how shocked Urza is to learn that they're married. Gotta love Urza's reactions. So this is hilarious too. Poor Wendy. So they're asking Ritas to do drawings of what they would imagine like 7 years later, because of course all the other characters have aged 7 years, but the characters in suspended state still remain the same. And for whatever reason, Wendy still has no boobs. I mean, she's 12 now, but at 7 years, what is she, 19? So we saw the Edalus version of her, right? So is that just a joke that she's just forever the flat-chested little girl? I mean, I don't know. And this is how Ritas imagines the Exceeds. Oh my god, look at, well, I can understand Panther, but look at Happy and Carla. So again, showing more of a time skip, we have members of Lamia Scale appear, and, Leon's aged a little bit. There's, what the hell was her name? Sherry, right? Sherry, Toby, Yuka, and then Jorah, of course. And they've returned to say hello, and, and this is great too. So Leon sees Juvia, and Juvia, we all know, is a simp for Gray, and I don't know, does Juvia feel something for Leon too? But Leon is looking at her, definitely sees something, and then Juvia in her head has this weird, like, romantic triangle where it's canon, bro. You got Natsu and Lucy, Loki Lucy and Gray? Lysana and Gray, what? And then Juvia and Gray, and then Gray and Leon? What the hell's going on? And then, wait a minute. Altair and Gray? Juvia's having a panic attack thinking about that. And then Gildarts is bragging out, yeah, I got my sweet daughter here, Kana. Isn't she the sweetest? So, that's so cute. So then Lucy returns back home, and there's always a comment with Lucy walking home early in the series, like, oh, be careful, girl, you're going to fall in the river. Hey, it's Lucy-chan. So she returns and sees her landlady, who's like, oh, you owe me this much money, over 5 million jewels. Pay up. And they can't afford it, so they got to go on another job. And Lucy starts thinking, well, I can't go there, so I got to visit my father, because she starts thinking about Kana and Gildarts. It's like, oh, it's been 7 years. I wonder how Dad's doing. So I'm talking to Plu there. Boom, boom. And I'm really not doing this just to borrow some money. 7 years lost. It was like our lives had been emptied out. So then they're talking more about what's going on here. And basically, Jorah is talking about a meeting with the wizard saints. And they have to deal with a certain guild. So what the hell are they talking about there? So anyway, then Makarov reveals to Jorah about Zareth. So they're going on a job here, and Lucy decides to check in on her father at the trade guild, Love and Lucky. And if you remember way back when, that's how Lucy got her name, when Jude and Layla, Lucy's parents, were here, and the K was missing, and it just said Love and Lucky. Or Love and Lucy, rather, but it was Lucky. So that's cute how she got her name. So Lucy comes in here asking where Jude Hartfilia is, and the clerk here is like, well, I shouldn't be the one to break this to you, but a month ago, Jude-san passed away. I'm truly sorry. God damn, dude. The 7-year time skip had its repercussions, and Lucy's father passed away in that span. And then you see the grave markings of Layla and Jude. And this is another scene where you just get the feels, and just these assholes here, but you really feel for Lucy and just the sadness. I mean, you know, Lucy didn't have a good relationship with her father, but they sort of did make amends prior to the Arashion Sace arc when he was getting his new job and he wanted to love his daughter. But, you know, it's just, well, I'll narrate over this. But anyway, Lucy's walking past after visiting the grave, and we see these two assholes. My father's really smelly and keeps complaining. My dad is so angry. He's so annoying. As they're walking by, Natsu's like, shut up already! Don't you get a clue? So then they run off, and basically, you know, it's just so sad. And you know, Lucy, she says that she doesn't feel sad, like I mentioned before, how she didn't really have a good relationship with her father, although she should feel sad, because, I mean, the man's dead. So, anyway. So Makarov makes his way over to Twilight Ogre's master and says, look, you know, we're not paying this stupid rent because we're back, and, you know, this is a bunch of nonsense. There's all sorts of fine print here that you have, and basically we'll have Mira Jane and Urza rough you up, which they do. And Lucy makes her way back. The freaking lady's wearing one of her outfits and basically says, you know, you got these packages arrive on the same day once a year. And Lucy's thinking, oh, you remember my birthday? And there was a flashback from way back when where Lucy was a young girl talking to her father saying, Papa, it's my birthday. And he didn't even know it was her birthday. But then he did remember her birthday. And he has these beautiful letters here. Dear Lucy, I'm sending this to wish you a happy birthday. Although I wonder when you'll finally be reading this. It's been a very long time since I heard that you had disappeared along with your friends. And although the news still worries me, I've decided to trust in you. You are much like Layla, and not simply in looks. You are blessed with quite a lot of luck. So I remain convinced that you are safe, and I trust that I will see you again. I seem to be drawing close to a major business deal with the people of the West. This leaves me very busy. However, these days are very fulfilling, and I remember you and Layla every single day. You are the pride of Layla and myself. I'd like you to live your life walking down the path you can believe in. I want us to meet again soon. Lucy, I want you to know that I will forever love you. And as Lucy's reading that note, she finally is brought to tears. I love you too. Oh my God, it's so sad. And basically, he gave her enough rent payment for the 7 years so that she can keep going on. And then Natsu comes to this door and thinks that's Lucy in that outfit, and is like, all right, well, we're going for a job. And Lucy's crying, and oh, it's so sad. But Natsu's screaming to her, we're going on a job, Lucy. And she says, hold on, I'm coming too, to be continued. So the feels, man. Oh, this series is so great. I love it. One criticism I will say, though, is the fact that I feel like they should have done this volume somehow, whether they had to condense the others, but for this volume to end here on a cliffhanger. So when I read the next volume, I can pick up more. Because I feel like, you know, if you're reading this week to week, it's definitely got a lot more emotional impact way back when you're reading it there, waiting week to week. But I feel like they should have ended the volume on that note. Although I love that they added the time skip. It did have you may think it didn't have repercussions, but Lucy's father has passed away now. And, well, Hades is finally dead. We saw Acnologia. Where the hell has Acnologia gone off to? And where has Zareth been for 7 years? So, thank you for watching, guys. Let me know your thought in the comments down below. And stay tuned for more manga reviews and other videos coming soon. Have a great day, everybody.